Let's see if anybody shows up. What do you think, Gage? How come you won't turn around? Is there one person out there? Yes, no, maybe. This might be a really short one, especially without you talking. There's somebody. Ah, Phil's here. And Denise Way. Hello, Denise Way. Hello, Phil. Oh, there's 5 people now. Perfect. How's everybody liking in the daylight savings time? I have my phone here, so in case I can't read that, is that the writing is about the size of my phone over there. Katie, come on, turn around. Come on. People probably might want to see you. Hey, Trey, how you doing? Oh, my dear friend, I hope you are well. Well, as well as I can be. We are on a drive, may lose connection. I did six hours of driving, a little over 6 hours today, so I had to take Darla over to our oldest daughter's house, and they're getting ready. She's going to be gone for, I don't know, a week to 2 weeks, somewhere in there. And they're going to go to North Carolina and visit my son, and then they're going to Georgia to visit my youngest daughter. So, and that's with my oldest daughter. So she'll have a great time, and had to give me a chance to do some things around here. Hopefully, if I can do stuff. I quit falling apart. And don't forget to like. That helps us. That gets it. When you guys start liking it, start sending it out there. Gives us some more people to make fun of. I mean, to visit with. See, someone just did one like, and we got 3 more people from one like. I just did another one. Oh, now they went away. So it's not fun. I'm going to try not to talk too much politics tonight. That seems to get me in trouble. Although I'm pretty good at getting in trouble without talking about politics. Are you going to just lay there like that, Kate? I mean, that's rude. I swear this dog, he has no manners. But anyway, yeah, we drove to good old Little Rock. Hey, Mark, good evening. And got to go to Chicken Express, which is a good thing. And he got some chicken. He's happy about that. And yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it rained for the last day and a half. And in fact, I tried to hook my trailer up to my truck, and I couldn't get my truck to back up. It's just a real slight incline, but I couldn't get the truck to back up far enough. And then I almost couldn't get the truck back up here on the pad. So, did Darla take off with your bike? No, I don't think she would do that. Although she knows how to ride a motorcycle. She had a beautiful bike. She knows how to ride one. She's just not real good at stopping and putting her foot down. Hey, Ron, how you doing, buddy? Are you still gate guarding? Oh, last day, huh? Wow. Are you coming here when you leave? That hey, buddy almost sounds like you're tired. Tired of boredom. That's the hard part about gate guarding. It's pretty boring sometimes, but I don't know. People are going to have to do something because they're starting to even. I was listening to someone today and a little while ago, and she was talking about how Florida's putting their foot down on you know, you're having a place to live and all that stuff. the thing about it is the government doesn't, they don't like it when they want to talk to you. They want to be able to knock on the door and you open the door and you're standing there. And when you're in an RV and you're traveling around, it makes it real difficult on them. Yes, I think so. We're gonna watch the weather, and it looks okay. We're heading that way. Oh, okay. You'll be here tomorrow then, huh? Ready to get out of here. Yeah. Well, if you want to wash your motorhome and stuff, we have everything here to do it. So get everything cleaned up and just kind of hang out and relax. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a bunch of little stuff, and I got all my oil filter, got all that stuff to do my motorcycle. So now all I got to do is get my air compressor, a couple of things out of the shed and on the outside of the shed, and get everything wired up, and then I can pull my bike in there and start working on it. Although I don't really need the air compressor to do what I'm going to do. But I'm kind of wondering. Had a couple of guys talk to me about wanting to. I'll turn this off. Wanting to bring their bikes in and have me do some restoration work. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They haven't talked to me in a couple of weeks, but hey, Jason, how you doing, buddy? Where's Amanda? Where she's at? So if you guys, if I'm talking kind of deliriously tonight, it's because I am delirious. So, like I said, I got a little thrown off with the time change. I mean, of course, I slept extra, and that's weird for me. But yeah, and then that long driving, I've got to start getting my mojo back so I can do that stuff. Got to get the shoulders work a little better, but man, it's still not right. Taking a break from tiling the master bathroom shower. Yeah, I can imagine that. See, that's going to be Darla's job. She's the tile lady, not me. I'll put the faucets in and that kind of stuff if she can do the tiling. I'm surprised she's not on here. She's probably being sneaky and just watching. But yeah, I'm gonna get on the motorcycle. I'm looking for a stock Harley Davidson 21-inch chrome rim, and I mean I've got the spokes and everything on this wheel now are nice, but I may not need it, but it looks like I might. There's a couple of rust spots, and if it's through the chrome, now I'm gonna definitely change them. Change the front rim. I've got a chewing stand and everything, so it's not a big deal. Taking a break. Okay. Yeah, man, I smoked a lot of wheels in my days, and I've always kept that little. I've had that smoking tool for years. Got all the wrenches and everything. Hi, Mellow Cat. So it's really, for what you get paid to smoke a wheel. It's unless you're a guy that can do 15 wheels in a day, which I'm not. I can do about 3. But if you're really good and fast, you can make money at it. But I'm not. I like to make sure they're just right on them. I want them on the bike and take the tire off and put them back on the bike and take some measurements so that when the wheel's all done, um, I can check it, make sure it's where it needs to be in the forks. I had one time when I had my Springer Softail, I needed to get a front wheel respoked, and I took it to a guy. Actually, it was my original rim, and I wanted chrome spokes instead of the just Harley spokes on there. And I took it to a guy, and I got it back, and the Springer rim is offset, and he just centered it up on the hub. So when I started to ride it, it was all weird. It felt like it was pulling real hard, and I started checking everything out, and it was just it wasn't anywhere center. You could take an 8-foot light bulb and put it up against the rear wheel, and then that front wheel should be pretty close, on if you check both sides. Well, it wasn't. It was touching on one side, and it was not even close on the other. So I took it back to him, and he got mad, and he just wrenched down on the one side, went in there and just wrenched all the spokes on that one side. And after about 3 weeks, I could see the dimples starting to pull and crack. And so I ordered a new rim and I ordered a truing stand, and that's where I learned how to true wheels on my own front wheel. And I got it all bitching, and I rode that wheel for 16 years. So never had a problem. If you can mess a spoke wheel up pretty fast if you're not careful. And when people come in for service, you always have to check the tightness on the spokes, but you don't want to over tighten them. You want to just snug them up is all you want to do. Randy Deaver is here, and I imagine Mary's in the background somewhere or sleeping. How's your gate doing? You still gate guarding? Ron up there, he's leaving. He's ready to get out of his gate. I guess today's his last day. So tomorrow he'll be leaving. Are you coming around here? Yeah, I always tell people the best day of gate guarding is your first day and your last day. That's the first day, the very best day of gate guarding is the day you leave. You get new bars yet. I haven't found handlebars. You want like almost $200 for a set of 1-inch 14-inch 1-inch thick, bars. That's crazy. That's too much, man. I used to buy those things for $25 and $30 brand new. I've got to find some of my old accounts like V Twin and some different stuff so I can start getting the parts. It's kind of like the motorhome thing. I mean, in the beginning, yes, 4 more weeks. um, when I started working on motorhomes, pretty hot and heavy, I found some pretty good suppliers, and I was getting stuff pretty cheap and good quality stuff, getting all the good stuff. But now things have kind of changed. They're it's getting harder to get stuff, and it's harder to get good stuff. Oh, and I was talking about the thing with in Florida and stuff. Now they're trying to lock down the RVers. They're trying to take away the the BLM land, and they're doing all kinds of stuff. And I know Trump doesn't know about it because his idea of Americans is to have as much freedom as possible. So I don't know why it's getting. They're trying to turn things back, but I'm sure there's still a lot of crazy lefties in our government that will do anything to make life miserable. I have a set of beach bars. Yeah, I don't like beach bars. I don't like them where they come back like that. I like ape hangers. That's what I want. I want 14-inch ape hangers. How you doing, Mountain Laurel? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Yeah, it's the thing is, it's got those big. Let me see, there we go. Got those big risers on them. They're like 4-inch, and they do a little pullback, and then they got the little clamp on the top. So I think a 14-inch bar will be perfect. I've had wide glides before, but I always put the real short, little 2-inch ones or 1-inch or whatever they are. They're real short, and then you got the clamp on the top, and then I use 16 or 18-inch bars, and they look cool. They look a lot cooler than having the 14-inch bars. But this bike is going to be a good running, good riding, comfortable bike. Hello, Rosebud. type bike, kind of leaving it kind of just looking like old man bike. You know what I mean? I I don't know whether it will actually work out with me riding it, but um, people will probably think it is an old bike and I'm an old bike rider. So that's what I'm running on my panhead short riser with 16-inch fat bars. I don't want the inch and a quarter. I just want a 1 inch 1 inch bar. Um, one thing I found about the the inch and a quarter bars is they're quite a bit heavier. And what they do is they bend two bars, and then they'll have a 1 inch center, and they'll put them in there and zap them. Just put a zap weld on them. I've had I don't know about it anymore, but people used to complain about them cracking. I've actually drilled out the bottom of the bars so because I always run the wiring inside, and I've had the wires. Of course, that was on my Springer. Had the because the Springer rides a little more clunkier. I mean, you don't feel it, but the handlebars and stuff do. But it just like spider webbed underneath, and it was getting ready to snap off. But it can happen with any of them. I sure, man. There's a guy on Facebook that I've been watching. He's building a 65 pan. Man, that thing is freaking beautiful. He hasn't got to the body and paint yet, but he's been building the motor. It looks real nice. My engine, all the cases were polished, all the bolts were chromed. Of course, back in those days, a lot of those old panheads had Phillips screws. They were pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah, the way I used to run the wires through the handlebars is I take a piece of string and an air hose and just hold my hand over the other thing with a slot on the bottom, just blow the air, and here comes the string, and just tie it onto the electrical and right on through. Real easy to do. I've seen guys try to figure out ways to get those in. I go, got any string? And I show them how easy it is. It's like, yeah, that works pretty good. Let's see, my handlebars haven't had any cracking yet. Well, a lot of it depends on how much you ride, how nice the roads are where you are, how stiff how much air you keep in the front tire makes it. Everything makes a difference. You know how bikes are, and that's something that when people bring their bikes in for service, I check all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, every 10,000. If you did every service with me, if you did the 5,000 and the 10,000, then we got to the 10,000, I would actually pull the forks off, the triple trees off, pull the bearings out, grease it all, and put it back together for the same price as the 5,000. So the 5,000 mile, 10,000, 15, 20, the price was always the same. And I packed the wheel bearings, I did the whole thing. Of course, now you don't pack wheel bearings anymore. I guess you probably can, but they're sealed bearings. You can pull the little seal out and squirt some grease in it. But I don't know if that's the best way to go about it. Probably just and I have all the tools for the bearings, pull them out, which now there's special, you got a special tool for everything. And I got all that stuff up to 2010. I don't have all the injection stuff anymore. I sold a lot of my injection stuff. But what happens to those those 2010s and older, the problems with the injection was where the little plug-in is on the injector, the wires would start to come out of the pins, or you just have like two threads. And I go in there and I check it out and I look at them and I fix the connector. I got new connectors and everything. Put it back together, and guys go, "Man, it runs great. What you do?" I go, "Fix your wiring." Let's see. With Apex, I've had the problem of the handlebars always moving because of the length of the bars. Are they knurled? If they're not knurled, I've had bikes where they would, like the 16s, where they're not knurled. You can either get a knurling tool and knurl them, or you can take like a punch and you can punch around the top and around the bottom, and then when you tighten them down, it kind of like buries into the clams. Hey, Peptink's here. Hello, Peptink. We are in Q boondocking for 3 days, leaving tomorrow. We have been in California for a month, helping family. Home tomorrow. Miss you guys. Yeah, well, we're here. We've been just kind of hanging out. You know what, Ron? You might want to get here like in the next day or two because there's supposedly one of those what are they? Cyclops blast things coming, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I guess it's a pretty wild thing to experience. So at least you'll be in a safe place with electricity, water, sewer, and you don't have to worry about it. Oh, okay. Apparently you've been in them, huh, Mark? A bomb cyclone, is that what it's called? Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many of you know Reed Timmer. He's the guy that has that Dominator where hey Vince, how's it going? Where he takes his, I think it's like a Tahoe or something like that, and they pulled the body off of this thing, and they went in there and it's all like looks like a stealth fighter or something, and it's all heavy duty stuff, and they drive right up to where the tornado's coming, and then they drop it down, and they actually ride out the tornado in it. So I sent you that video and read. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I've seen it. He's been updating today too. So I just came home a couple hours ago. Well, I guess it was around 5:30 or something like that. I turned it on. And he was on there talking about how it's coming. It's supposed to be here Wednesday or Thursday. So, and I guess it's going to be cover pretty much this whole area all the way to the coast. So we'll see. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I don't know. I think it would be cool. I've seen one tornado in my life where I mean I actually saw it, and it wasn't here. It was in Idaho, and it kind of just went around, and it got into some hills or something, and it was weird because the sky was super yellow, and the wind was blowing so hard. The rain was just straight sideways, and I mean hay bales were blowing past. Man, me and this other kid were outside behind these wheels on this tractor watching this thing, and my mom's trying to get me to come in and go in the safe room or whatever it was. I said, "Nah, it's not here yet," and it just went by, kind of went by us. But it was pretty intense to see. You could see it just ripping stuff up. Let's see. We're supposed to be shut right, shut right in the middle of here, right in the middle of here. Okay, we're supposed to be Wendy and Will from Quartzsite. Yeah, yeah, Peptine. You're supposed to be in the middle of that thing. Is that what it is, Mark? You're in Kansas, huh? Aren't you on the east side of Kansas or something like that? Okay, I see what's going on here. You guys are talking to each other. There's Zach. I finally made it to alive. Yeah. Well, good to see you, Zach. You guys ready for us to come there and visit you? Yeah, Kansas City area. Yeah, I'll tell you some of the worst weather I've ever experienced is where Zach lives, man, up there in Kentucky. Man, I'll tell you, when they get a rainstorm, it's a rainstorm. I mean, it's like massive flooding, and we don't have a parking lot that floods, but the wind blows and the rain comes and it just blows in the door. Yeah, I see everyone's talking. Yes, let's get that fireworks store open. It's closed, right? I heard they made it so you can't get into the parking lot from the road out front. You have to go around and in. That there's truth to that? Yeah. They say they can still get in there, but you have to turn like you're going to go to the campground, and then you go in one street, make a right like going to your house, and then make another right and come out towards the road, and then you go in. Yeah, pretty crazy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much effect it will have on the store. We'll see. We're coming anyway, so if I can, if I'm hoping this crap's going to get straightened out. I went to the Little Sturgis Motorcycle Rally in Sturgis, Kentucky one year, and on the first day we got hit by a microburst. It came up and out of nowhere and blew my awning straight up on my RV. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. You worry about my RV on the turn. What turn? Getting in the campground road or what? We should be able to make it around there. How high's the curb? Can I drive over the? They leave that little gully out there by the end of the parking lot. They left that out there. Then I can't. You don't think what? I can get around that curve? I have to see. I won't pull all the way in there. I'll just pull in and park and then walk back and look at it. I can usually tell. I haven't gotten too many places where I couldn't get in. No, I would think so. Yeah, I could take the truck off. That's easy. One thing about the truck is though, it's narrower than the motorhome, and unless I really, really cut it sharp, it is usually zip in there. Hi, Scarlett. How are you doing? Did you just come on? Yeah. Anyway, it's getting funner. All this weather is getting really good. Yeah, everybody's kind of. I think a lot of people are missing it tonight because of the time change. It feels weird. It doesn't feel like it's time to be doing this. But oh well. Where did I go today? Does anyone have an idea? Yeah, it was yummy pretty good today, wasn't it, Cage? They gave me 5 pieces instead of 4, so he got 2. He loves it. Yeah, I thought, what I thought about calling you and having you come over and meet me, but you know what, I was so burnt out from, I had to take Darla over to our oldest daughter's, and she's going on like a 10 or whatever day trip. And I just went in and got the food and hit the road. I wanted to get home, and I was burnt out. It's a long ways to go and come back. The one hasn't opened near me yet. A Class A toy hauler. Oh, okay, like outlaw. So they call those spoiled hat. Yeah, that's why he's out here. Well, I took her over so she could. She's going. They're leaving for North Carolina in the morning. My daughter and her kids and her husband and Darla. So I didn't know about it for till a few days ago, and she goes, "Well, you can go." It's like, yeah, I guess they've been planning this thing for a month, but I didn't get. I don't know. She said she told me, but I don't know. No, it had opened. Yeah, well, they keep saying it's like a month away from opening. They're trying to get people to work in it. They're having a hard time. They're looking for a general manager, and everyone said, "Well, you should go general." I don't want to go do that. I just want to go there and eat. I don't want to have to work at it. Then it won't be fun anymore. A Newmar Canyon Star? Well, I haven't heard of that. I've heard of a Newmar, and I think they make a. I didn't know a Canyon Star was a toy hauler. But then what happens is your bedroom. How do they do that? They is the bedroom still in the back, or because I know they have to raise the floor over the motor, and then they have a big huge ramp that you go up into the back. So the bedroom's probably not in the back. I'll have to look online, see what it looks like. I've actually seen Class A diesel motorhomes with the diesel engine in the middle of the RV. And there's when you have to work on the motor, there's all kinds of like you take cabinets out and everything else to get to. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's not something that's convenient if you break down on the side of the road, you know. Yeah, it was raining pretty good this morning over there in Hot Springs when I went through there. It was raining real good here for a day and a half. So good I couldn't get my truck to back up to my trailer. So I I found a stove. It's like a Franklin stove. I thought would be good for the bedroom because we're going to have one real nice firebox with the glass, and then like a potbelly stove is what it is. And I figured it was gonna weigh 300 or 400 pounds. And I could get the truck to back underneath the trailer, and almost got the truck stuck, so I just pulled it out, brought it around, and then when we were driving this morning, we were kind of checking. That stove only weighs 80 pounds. Well, 80 pounds on a cast iron stove is nothing. So I told her, I said, I'm not going to get that. That scares me. Because then they're brittle and stuff like that. I want something. I don't want to have to pull it out in a year or two. I want to put it in there and have it last. You know, the bedroom is right to the front of the garage on the same level as everything else. What do you go in the side or you go in the back when you pull your toy in? Well, sorry I missed you, Rhonda Cooper. How are you and the family? Um, well, just me and Dogface over here tonight for probably about next 10 to 12 days, something like that. Home Alone. That's why I put Home Alone live. So yeah, they make them motorhomes pretty crazy anymore. Why a nice rainy day cutting tiles, freezing my butt off. Well, that sounds nice. It's actually not real super cold. If it's this way to 80 pounds, it's not an old school potbelly stove. I had one back in the 80s. That's all we used in the old house that we bought. Yeah, and they're 300 400 pounds. A decent one's three. There was a guy a while back, and he had two potbelly stoves, and one was real small, and the other one was a little bit bigger, which would have been perfect for the bedroom. The small one would have been cool to put outside or use for decoration or whatever. He wanted $200 for both of them, and by the time I got a hold of him, he had already sold them. I mean, he sold them like instantly. And she put it back on. I'm sure she'll sell it. I mean, but it had a weird thing in the front where the way you adjust the air intake, you actually grab the front of the unit and pulled it back. And there was a guy that was commenting on that particular stove, and he said that he could never turn it down enough. It just would just get so stinking hot, and it would just burn up all the wood. So I don't know. I want something where you got something where you can crank it down. You can fill it full of wood, get it roaring hot, then fill it full of wood, and then crank it way down so it just idles all night long. And when you get up in the morning, you crank it up, you fill it full of wood, and it starts going again. So that's how I like it to work. I don't like it where you light it up and it makes the room so hot you can't even breathe in there, and then you tone it down as much as you can. It still burns too hot, and you run out of wood, and you get up in the morning, you're freezing, and there's nothing but ash in there. So it's got to be the right thing. I mean, we've kind of gone on everything we've done. We're kind of going overboard on it. We're going to try to find used cabinets, and we played that game. Why, we had another Dougie D that comes on here. I have a friend of mine I went to all the way through school, from elementary school through high school. And I was looking at his YouTube channel. I don't know, somebody just sent me a message. Anyway, oh, it's Mark. All right, I'll take a look at that, Mark, when it's over with here. Anyway, he had a 2017 Toyota Corolla Camry, and it was nice. He just put tires on it, just had it all serviced, 83,000 miles, and he only wanted $2,000 for it. And then he had a 2012 Ford pickup, and it was real clean too, and he only wanted 3,500 for that. Well, I told Dougie about it, and Doug says, "Yeah, well, we'd be," because I knew his wife was looking for one, and he goes, "Yeah, I'd be very interested in getting that." So I sent him I shared my buddy's page to him, and he was looking at it, and I contacted who I thought was my buddy for his phone number, and he gave it to me, and I sent that to Doug, and then I started checking things out, and it just wasn't making any sense. I'm thinking, man, that Toyota Camry's got to be worth more than that, a lot more than that. That truck, $3,500 for a clean Ford truck, not believable. I wrote my buddy Doug back, and I said, "Hey, something's fishy." He goes, "It's definitely fishy." I talked to him. He sounds like a real jerk. He wants me to send him a deposit. I said, "Yeah, don't do that. Don't send him anything." So then I contacted the guy and told him that, "Hey, there's an investigation starting on you, and so be expecting to get picked up." Well, he pulled everything off and disappeared. And then the dork went on to our economic refugees Facebook and tried to do it again. And Darla got him and gave him a bunch of crap, and he got off of there. So I don't know. You have to be able to regulate those potbelly stoves. I used to cook on mine, and I loved it. Yeah, they're cool. We had two fireplaces. We had a real fireplace in the living room, and then the family room had one of those insert deals. And I put one of those. All you had to do was just take one of those inserts, and you just slide it in the cast iron deal. You don't have to pipe them or anything. The other one we had to put triple pipe and everything. But I painted the guy's Harley dresser. What a job! Anyway, in the way he wanted it too. And anyway, he put the triple wall and bought the stove and everything. I'll tell you what, man, they were awesome. They were awesome. You get both those things going. I had a big house. You get both those things going, and one side kept the living room and part of the kitchen and the hallway. Kept it real nice, and the bedrooms were kind of cool. And that's kind of how you want it. Of course, this thing here, we're going to have an actual like a potbelly stove in the bedroom, and then have Ashley makes a big, real nice on a pedestal with a glass door, and it takes good sized wood and everything. That's going to be in the living room. So we'll have that, but I don't. One reason why I don't want something like that in the bedroom, I don't want the glass because I don't want the light of the fireplace keeping us awake all night. You'll do well. Yeah, I'm going to do a little more research because it's been a long time since we've purchased anything like that. I think the last time we purchased a stove was probably in the 90s. So I just happened to be cruising the um, Facebook page thing, and I saw this thing for $200, and it has the metal heels for the floor to keep it from transmitting the heat and all that. I thought, well, that's probably a pretty good deal. Um, but it is a good deal, but it's just it's a little bit too scary for me. I like quality is what I like. I like good quality stuff. That's why I drive a Cadillac and I have a Harley instead of buying all Chinese junk. Hopefully we hopefully we won't have to deal with that much longer. Hopefully Trump gets more and more of this American stuff going again, and start we produce this stuff. You know what I mean? Instead of having some slave Chinese people building everything. I mean, it really shows in the motorcycle parts. I remember when in the 90s, mid 90s, when you could first that's when you could really first buy a motorcycle with catalogs. You could always do it, but it was very difficult to get some of the stuff. But you could buy the motor, you could buy the trans, you could buy the frames, you could buy everything you needed. Back in the old days, when I first started working on bikes and stuff, when you were going to build a bike, you went and bought an old shovel head or a pan head or something, and you brought it home and you tore it all down and you put it all back together and you fixed and powder coated or painted or whatever you did, and you put it back a piece at a time. And then when you needed something certain, you wanted actually a Harley part, then you went to swap meets and stuff to find them. It's a lot different now. You could virtually buy, but like I say, buy everything. They sold bike kits, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. That's what I had was a pellet stove, a big one, heated my whole house. Yeah. Well, my whole house isn't much of a house, pretty small, so under 1,000 square feet, so it shouldn't be too hard to heat. But the thing is the reason why I want the one in the bedroom is because it drops down. It's below the rest of the house. It's not a basement. It's ground level, but we're on a slope, and I definitely want to have something down there to keep that bedroom warm. Like I say, we're going to have the mini split with four outputs, but you know, my brother says, well, when the electricity goes out, you won't have heat. He's got a propane, but you got to have electricity to run the propane too. So that's the deal. If you have a fireplace, I mean, if you can burn wood, you don't need a electricity. And if you need light, then you just either open the front or if it has glass, you get some light out of it. Nowadays with a pan head or shovel head, you have to buy aftermarket because Harley Davidson no longer makes parts. Yeah, but if you've heard of Ted Cycle, you can get Ted Cycle buys all the all the manufacturing equipment. When Harley is done producing something, then they buy all the manufacturing equipment. They have a special deal with Harley Davidson, and they reproduce factory style parts. I mean, they're the qual. That's I use them for years and years and years, and I'm going to. That's one of the first places I'm going to try to get back with because I want to do the older bikes. So I'm going to try to get back with Ted Cycle, and you can get motors from them and everything, the heads, cylinders. They can make it all. They'll offer you the Chinese stuff, but if you want the good stuff, they have that too. Did you know that? And then there's drag has a lot of good stuff. The ones you got to watch out for are some like Wind Products and some of those companies. They just buy the cheapest crap, and it looks like they have everything. Right? Is V twin correct? Oh yeah, you have this extra stove, huh? Yeah. Oh, hi, Chris. Good to see you here. Yeah. Well, it is late, but you know what? If it was last week, you'd be early right now. Let's see. They have a warehouse 60 miles north of us in St. Joe, Missouri. Joseph, Missouri. Okay. Well, I know that they're originally out of New York. I got a whole bunch. He used to send toys every year, hot rods and everything. I got Ted Cycle. I got them. I got them out here in my shop now. I'm going to start calling it the shop. I hate calling it the shed. Once I get that air compressor out of there and sitting behind it, then I'll be able to start doing stuff in there more. So I'm going to try to work on that a little bit this week. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Thank you, Scarlett. I appreciate it. And it does help us to get the word out. Been kind of weird here lately. I watch these guys. There's one guy. He's called the Veteran Biker, and he's on every morning and usually every evening. And he'll get 6,000. He does lives, 6,000 thumbs up. I don't know how many people are watching him, but there's got to be quite a few. That's for sure. The Harley House, yeah. I've got a bunch of old memorabilia stuff. Harley used to send me stuff. They still send me stuff all the time, but um, some of it got a little bit screwed up because I used to like take it out of the box and hang it up on the walls in the house and in my shop and different places. And when I got ready to move, I didn't have the boxes, so they're worth 10 times as much if they're in the box and they're not scratched. But I don't know. I had every Easy Rider magazine from 1972 to like 2002, and I couldn't. They were so heavy, and they were in box after box after box. I gave them to a friend of mine. He goes, "Well, I guess I'll take them." And I know he sold those things and made a fortune on them because I had the original ones still in the plastic. I used to advertise in Easy Rider my driver's backrest and stuff, and they would send me a V twin and an Easy Rider magazine every month, and then I had a subscription to Easy Rider, so I would keep my Easy Rider in the plastic, and I would open their stuff up and look at it. So, and I had him, and he was like freaking out, man. He couldn't believe. He goes, "Oh, you got really old ones here too." I go, "Yeah, well, I've been riding. I was riding motorcycles back in those days, so I had them. If you can't play with your toys, they're not worth anything. Worth having." Yeah, yeah. Hey, Johnny, you're late. Are you still on the old time? I started collecting the Mario Harley models. I have them all way from Series 1 to 25. Julio. What is it? I thought you said it was Mario. Did you change it to, what is it? Mace Stole? I don't know what that is. Yeah, those spell checkers, they, words that are really words, they don't believe that that's what you want to use. So they just change it anyway. It really irritates me. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Maisto. Yeah. I never bought a model. I always just bought the real thing and the parts. I'm definitely gonna get back into being able to purchase parts. I'm at Rado over here that has the little motorcycle shop in town, the Harley shop. Of course he does. They'll work on anything, but he's mainly Harley. But I'm gonna go over there and help him get hooked up because he says, well, they want this amount of money for this to be able to, but there's ways around that. So I just got to teach them how to do it. If they'll, part of the thing is you got to get a rep to come see your store, and a lot of times they'll cut you a little slack. So I'll be talking to them this week. I'm gonna have time to play around with that stuff. So they wanted, I think, when I got my drag specialties, they said that I had to buy $2,500 worth of stuff. And at the time, that was a lot of money, and so I did buy probably about $1,000 worth of stuff. I bought tires and oil filters and stuff like that. I bought stuff that I knew I was going to need and I could sell off and get most of my money back and then have to repurchase, just not on that heavy a level. And then I told people I'd give them deals on cams and different stuff if they gave me the money up front. So I just made one big $2,500 order and I had like $2,000 worth of it already sold, and then I had all that oil filters and stuff. So you just kind of you have to do stuff like that when you're a small guy getting started. It's not like you're going to go down to the bank and say, "Yeah, I'm starting a motorcycle shop in my garage. Can I borrow $5,000?" They're not going to give you any money. Well, I'm sure I probably have seen it, just to know that that's the name of it. You know I would know what kind of bike it is. Oh, it's a 65 pan or whatever. I wouldn't know what the name of the model company is. I never, you know what? When I was a kid, I tried to do like two or three models, and I messed them up so bad with the glue. I think I maybe had too much glue in my nose or something. I just said I ain't gonna. The people would buy me a model. I just take it and sell it. I'm kind of thinking the aftermarket part business is pretty much suffering right now. Well, drag's not. I was platinum with drag. I was one of their biggest dealers. I mean, there were great big huge Harley dealers that didn't do as much as we did. But I sold a lot of stuff, man. I mean, I had other shops buying from me, and I was telling a guy the other day, I hardly ever went to the Harley dealer. In fact, John here, he would know. Uh, they kind of screwed me over. The original owner in our area, that shop, screwed me over on a deal, and I said, well, I'll never come in this shop again. And I walked out, and he was trying to talk out, man, because I was spending a lot of money on there. And one day I needed to get something, and I didn't want to drive 60 miles one way to go get it. So I went over to the Harley dealer. I walked in there, and the owner of the new owner come over to me and he said, "Hey, how you doing? You're Bill, right?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, hey, Bill, I'd like to get all your business here." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "What kind of deal you give me?" And he takes a piece of paper and he looks around. And he writes down 10%. And I looked at it and I said, I went like I crossed out the 10% and I said 20%. And he goes, "Well, you'd have to buy a lot of stuff to get that kind of a discount." I said, "Well, how about if I order two springers, two engines, and two transmissions right now? Will that do it? I'll pay for them up front." And he goes, "That'll do it." And from then on, man, I did a lot of business with that guy. I mean, a lot. And he was they tried that shop wanted me to be their service manager, that dealership. And I told him, nah, I don't want to. I gave him an outrageous price to be the service manager, and they said okay. I said, no, I don't want to be. That's why I gave it such an outrageous price. I never thought you'd, you know, say yes. It was crazy. So anyway, kind of thinking, yeah, I don't know. The thing is, Harley. there's a lot of stuff going on with Harley. I see guys buying new bikes, but they're Indians. I don't know. I know Polaris had a lot of problems with that Victory. That Victory Motors had they had some issues with them, and you know that I don't know. These new Indian motors to me, I don't know. I don't think they're as beautiful as like the original Indian motors, but they definitely look better than when the Southern California Motorcycle Company bought it, SCM. They were using those S&S 88-inch motors and all that Chinese transmissions and everything. And those bikes, people were paying 25 and 30 grand. You could have went and bought a new Harley for that price, and they were terrible. They just had way too much compression in them. They shook real hard, and guys were coming in asking me if I could fix them, and I'd say, well, yeah, we got to take some compression out of the motor and all this. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to keep it, all hyped up. Okay, and I finally did one guy's bike. He let it get done, and dude, it ran awesome. It ran cooler, and he more than kept up with those guys. Most of the guys that had that high compression 88, they couldn't beat him. And I finally started getting a few guys in doing them once in a while. So, but by that time, people were just getting out of them. So they were selling them to their buddies, and then they weren't buddies anymore. Yeah, Big Dog motorcycles look nice. Yeah, you know who Big Dog owns? Big Dog was Coleman Camping Stuff. They originally it was one of the sons of the owner. It was him that started Big Dog Motorcycles, and the original Big Dog frames were Daytech frames, and that shop that the manufacturer Daytech was a powder coating shop, and I introduced him to Dick from Atlas, who had been building frames since the 70s. And that's how that started. Titan frames, Big Dog frames, they made all those. And I actually helped design a couple. I designed a episode 180 frame, which if you could ever get one of them, they are amazing because they are basically a soft tail isolated engine and trans. So the swing arm, the back of the frame is like a swing arm. It's got the outside external shocks. So but the engine and the inner and outer primary and the transmission and all that were soft tail, and they sat in like a cradle, and then the swing arm hooked up to this cradle, and it was a pretty cool idea because you could use all the soft tail tanks. And I helped design that with Phil Day, the owner of Daytech. And it was I bought a lot of those frames. I was building, um, people that have seen my collection of motorcycles that I built. That was my production motorcycle that I built. And it was like riding a dresser, but it looked like a softail. Let's see. I've been to the factory in Wichita. Of the Big Dogs? Okay. I thought they originally were that's Titans out. It was out of Florida. But it's true what I say. Big Dogs started with one of the Coleman kids, right? The lanterns and the ice chests and all that. I don't know who started Titan. That was like the first really big aftermarket uh, production motorcycle. Yeah, we're getting close here, guys. 1 minute. And I wasn't even going to stay on here this long. I figured I'd be on here about 15, 20 minutes. Nope, what? They're not. The guy that owner son of Coleman didn't start. I'll look into that because I'm pretty sure he did because I think I shook his hand at Daytech one time. They started off with Daytech frames and then they went from there. Darla, no, we missed her. Okay, she probably knows already. She's probably watching me. She just won't say that. Say goodbye, Dar, if you're out here. Or she's with the grandkids, so Anyway, all right, guys. You guys all have a good evening and a good week. And thank you for the likes. Thank you for watching. And I'll be here next Sunday, I'm sure. See you guys later. Take it easy.